David Oyelowo, congratulations on the film, and congratulations on the career at the moment, especially the last 12 months. It's gone ever so slightly stratospheric since the success of Selma. Have you acclimatised to the madness of global adoration that's attached to the success you've had over the last year?
Oh dear. No. Is the truth of the matter. The funny thing for me is, I've been an actor for quite a while, I about 17, 18 years, so, people kind of think you've come out of nowhere, so to speak, but I've had a really nice career where I've made a living at it, and then to suddenly have this moment where later on in your career, as it were, people recognize you and opportunities that are definitely coming along that weren't necessarily there before. It's taking a bit of adjusting to, but it's good stuff.
Perhaps when you get this kind of success, it's attached to it some more crazy fandom that goes on. You've not had any instances where someone's been trying to sell you their babies, or you've escaped social media. I've seen on Twitter. Yeah. There's a David Oyelowo who mostly posts pictures of you in various shirts.
Right.
Do you try and keep away from that
Okay.
kind of craziness?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I stay away from social media partly because the only thing I sort of seem to see actors ever use it for is to apologize for silly things they've said. So I'm just kind of trying to avoid that. But no, the weirdest thing is the epidemic of the selfie. It just, you can't go anywhere without, and the minute you take one, you've got to take 15. So that's a bit of an adjustment as well.
So we're here to talk about Captive, a very, very tense, suspenseful, but quite intimate thriller. Could you sum up what the premise of the film is for people who haven't seen it yet?
Yeah, in 2005 in Atlanta, a guy called Brian Nichols, who I play in the film, was on trial for rape, and he managed to break out of the courthouse jail, and he killed the judge. He gunned him down, the judge he was about to face for trial. He also killed a court reporter, a sheriff's deputy, and a customs officer, all in the morning, before then escaping and taking a meth addict by the name of Ashley Smith hostage for 7 hours. She had been given this book called The Purpose-Driven Life, which out of desperation, she read to him something about those words, and these two broken people holed up together in an apartment for 7 hours, led to a situation whereby he ended up letting her go, giving himself up, and she never touched that drug again beyond that night.
It's a true story, of course, and you're playing another real-life character, as you were with Dr. Martin Luther King a year ago. What attracted you to this particular role? Is there something about real-life characters you like to get your teeth into?
It's less about wanting to play real-life characters and more about the fact that those films, I think, life truly is weirder than fiction. I mean, what I just summarized for you there, if you just wrote that as a piece of fiction, you're likely to think, well, that wouldn't happen. But because it did happen, you are given the license to really delve into the complexity of us as human beings. And I think that if you're not going to do a great big sort of superhero movie where everything's blowing up and it's kind of a spectacle, the other side of that is to really look at the complexity of us as human beings. And I think that is more fascinating than blowing stuff up. So I think that's why I'm drawn to these kind of stories.
There's been a lot of craziness about the Bond rumours for a little while. Who's going to play the next Bond? But now, definitively, we can at least say the new James Bond at the moment is yourself, is David Oyelowo.
In an audiobook.
In an audiobook. It still counts.
We mustn't forget that bit. Yeah, I'm just flabbergasted by just the sheer amount of attention that this thing is still getting. But I think it's great that, the audience, I think, is showing and suggesting and making vocal the fact that they're open to seeing different kinds of people playing the central characters in movies, not just Bond. I think it's just that there's an openness generally.
You'd take it if they offered it, though?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on if I get to do other movies as well. I don't want to be purely identified with one character.
I want to very, very quickly play a quick game with you. It's the worst game I've ever made. It's called King or King. You rose to prominence in the acting world playing Henry VI, a real king, and then last year exploded into the world playing Dr. Martin Luther King himself. So I'm gonna give you a list of names. I've got 10 names. These people are either real kings or prominent people with the surname King. That's how stupid this game is.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Don.
King.
Philip Leopold Louis Maria.
King Philip Louis
Of Belgium. Nicely done. Harold V.
That's, okay, King Harold
Difficult. Lawrence Harvey Zeiger.
King last name.
Nicely done. It's Larry King. Stephen Edwin.
King as a last name.
Very nice. Stephen King, the author. Mohammed VI.
I'm going to say King as a title.
Of Morocco. He loves it over there. Willem Alexander. Klaus George Ferdinand. He's got a long name.
King as a title.
Of the Netherlands. Billie Jean.
Oh, King as a last name.
Tennis player. Carl Gustaf.
King as a title.
Of Sweden. And Benjamin Earl.
King as a last name.
Very nice, Benny King. Very well done. David Oyelowo, you scored 100% in my awful King or King game.
I know a little bit about kings.
Lovely to meet you, mate.
Thank you very much.